Someone's coming.
Now! This'll put him down!
See me.
Beautiful.
They're through my shields.
Have you been thinking?
Eat that! Who's next? Incoming!
Going silent.
Firing concussive shot!
Lost shields.
Good devil!
Going silent.
That had to hurt.
Broken.
Not bad.
10
can't do it.
Right. Vorcha land.
The Blue Suns got pushed back way more than I thought. The Vorcha might be close to ending this war.
Hey, back off. We got here first. Hey, what did I say? We found this stuff. It's ours.
Ah, forget it. Nothing but junk in here. This place is worse than the last one.
So that doesn't take into consideration physical copies.
Do you know a Solarian named Morden Solus?
Yeah, I know him. Gotta take plenty of ammo if you go that way. Crawling with Blue Suns and Vorcha.
As opposed to physically. In actual fact, digital sales make up 90% of all game sales.
What else can you tell me
I don't know. Well, about
Figured we had to look out for ourselves.
Never really found much. Kind of a poor neighborhood, you know?
We need to get going.
I'll stay here for a while.
We got a big day tomorrow. Still plenty of apartments that need our special cleaning services.
So how much did it cost to develop? We know that due to a failed to redact Sony document in the FTC Microsoft trial, we know that the cost of The Last of Us Part 2 came at $220 million. So if we guesstimate additional sales of the game since all of this stuff came out, I think adding another 5 to 10 million would be very generous indeed, due to the fact that they'd be out at discounted prices, due to the fact that the game isn't very popular indeed.
Any more out there?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. It looks like The Last of Us Part 2 has probably made a profit somewhere in the region of 60 to 70 million dollars. Now, this is speculation, of course, trying to use the data available that that I've got available. There could be some swing either way as regards to that. But does that make a successful game 220 development costs?
No funny business once you're in the clinic.
Profit, isn't it? Or is it extrapolating?
Morton's around here
as
somewhere.
states
Go talk to
we
him.
can?
We need all the help we can get.
It's estimated that The Last of Us has sold around about 27 to 30 million units, whereas The Last of Us Part 2 most likely now sits in the remit of around about 11 to 12 million. So let's just say a third of the sales of the first game. Now, yes, there are circumstances surrounding this. The major one, I imagine, would be that The Last of Us came out in 2013 and the sequel in 2020, so it has a 7-year advantage in sales on its successor. However, one of them is popular and one of them is not. It's alleged that it hit 10 million copies 2 years after the sequel released. That's 2022. And it's predicted now that in those 3 years since, it's only shifted another 1 to 2 million. Things
Professor
like
Morton
The Last
Solus?
of Us Remaster within itself sold 18 million.
Don't recognize you from area. Too well armed to be refugees, no mercenary uniform, quarantine still in the best. Here for something else? Vorcha? Crew to clean them out? Unlikely. Vorcha a symptom, not a cause. The plagues. Investigating possible use as bioweapon. No, too many guns, not enough data, equipment. Soldiers, not scientists. Yes, yes.
For the love of God, take a breath. I came here to find you, okay? I'm Commander Shepard. I'm on a critical mission, and I need your help.
Mission? What mission? No. Too busy. Clinic understaffed. Plague spreading too fast.
Does you feel like there's probably more chances?
Have you ever shoved anything in your own ass? Of course.
Now, this announcement came in February of 2024, and I have to say, it was always to
Ever
me
heard of an
gonna be
organization
a
called
risk.
Cerberus?
After all, we're now talking
Crossed
about
paths, I
franchise
guess.
which
Thought they only worked with
technically has
humans.
the law
Why request
of
Solarian
diminishing
aid?
returns.
I'm on a mission to shut down the collectors, and I need your help.
Collectors? Interesting. Plague hitting these slums is engineering. Collectors one of few groups with technology to design it. Our goals may be similar. But must stop plague first. Already have a cure. Need to distribute it at Environmental Control Center.
Sounds I'd like to ask someone for help.
Life is a negotiation. We all want.
I think things just got...
Fortune have shut down environmental systems. Trying to kill everyone. Here, take plague cure. Also, bonus in good faith, weapon from dead Blue Sun's mercs. May come in handy against... One more thing. Daniel, one of my assistants, went into Vorcha territory looking for victims. Hasn't come back.
A doctor doesn't have much chance against
Stubborn. Told him not to go. Odds of survival low. But he's smart, careful, bright
Let's head for the
futures.
environmental.
Yes, good. Restore power. Release cure. We'll be here when you return. Yes, Shepard. You need something.
Let's head for the environmental.
Yes, good. Restore power. Release cure. We'll be here when you return. Yes, Shepard. You need something.
I found a Batarian slag.
Risky. Blue Sun's Vorcha still battling District not secure.
Let's head for the
Yes,
environmental.
good. Restore power. Release cure. We'll be here when you return.
A third game may not happen at all, warned Neil Cuckman, the head of Naughty Dog, in an interview with Variety when asked specifically about a third Last of Us game. He said, quote, "I guess the only thing I would say is, don't bet on there being more of Last of Us. This could be it." And fans are wanting to melt down. Neil Cuckman, you better
This
be
clinic is a
making
sanctuary.
Last of Us 3.
If you're looking for trouble, go...
I didn't realize how good things were in the district before the quarantine. Never thought I'd miss the Blue
I
Suns.
actually agree with the guy. Looks like a mitigated trash. And we love Naughty Dog. But it just looks
Get ready.
uninteresting. I don't know. The characters and the games. The idea of no Last of Us 3 really is a disappointment. And probably what exactly happened in that year to that concept that Neil was talking about not
Now you see me.
they realised that there's probably not that much in another Last of Us game now that attention has been pushed onto Intergalactic. And to be perfectly honest, I would be worried if I was looking on because the rating of that game has been any less than Interstellar. I kill myself. The trailer for that game is on PlayStation with
That had to hurt.
6,000 upvotes to 286,000 downvotes. Oh, sorry, I apologize. The real man.
Now you see me.
6,000 downvotes. It sits at 73,000 upvotes to 888,000 downvotes. I guess people are sick and tired of the characters
Change weapons.
like girl bosses that seem to bring nothing to the table. Why not something like Intergalactic? You can stellar play. Now, as we all know, Neil Cuckman is a supporter that any dissociation, and so seeing something like this does not surprise me in the slightest. We saw his change. They changed the Uncharted series. His changed in the Last of Us series. And now a brand new IP that nobody seems to be interested in. Which makes Naughty Dog. I sense that there's going to be some very troubled waters for you in the upcoming years. So until next time, you take care. Bye for now. Star Wars first emerged, I thought they sounded something.
My shucks. Hell yeah.
respected built-in male audiences as Disney already had the female protected. So, Victor and Mike
Who's next?
Female-centric process from driving the plane as well as the female without and because if they didn't care about Star Wars or shoving women and others to get them change their minds. So the Disney may now
Going silent.
some Star Wars together. Is that right now first clearly dropped to my administration has already automatically changed America. Therefore, it grows. That includes RFK Jr.'s wish to make America healthy again. RFK has already announced his intention to find production as needing specific suppression of legal and safe medical treatments for the simple reason that they cannot combat this by big pharma. Their change is already happening. It's just 2 days after the post in which RFK advised FDA agents concerned to 1. Preserve their records and 2. Pack their bags. And for this, alongside the National Association of Basic News as per court rule that the FDA was unfairly enforcing some rules against NMN companies. Curious what the star should take this.
So we take NMN every morning. What is NMN? Good question. So let me take it one step back. So about 20 years ago, Lenny Garrenti and a team of us at MIT discovered a set of genes that controls aging in yeast cells. Just rules yeast, what you find in beer and bread. And those genes are called sortillins, and there are 7 of them in our bodies, 5 in yeast. And what they do is they protect all organisms on the planet, plants, bacteria, humans, from deterioration and disease. They're like the Pentagon. They sense when we're hungry, sense when we're exercising, and they send out the troops to defend us. So when you put more of these genes into a yeast cell or a mouse, they'll live longer, between 5 to 20% longer. And so we think that these genes are responsible for the effects of dieting and exercise, which is great. What that means is we can now mimic that with molecules. So NMN is one of those molecules.
For now, the FDA can't take strict actions against NMN products while the case is on hold. I've got it. Going to be able to turn something like that. So take advantage of the 48 no doubt will be appealed with the book, just the old handbook I modelized. Initially brought Star Wars 4 and Bob Iger himself deep. Before we get into the Star Wars sale, let's recap Disney initially bought Star Wars 4 and Bob Iger himself detailed at length in his memoirs/memoirs.
I'm telling you the truth. I work for Morden at the clinic. I came here to help you.
I know you're spreading the plague virus. We saw the vials in your bag.
No, those vials contain the cure. Please, you have to believe me.
Maybe we should cut off your fingers. That should loosen your... Look out! Don't move. One more step and we kill your friend.
Pull that trigger and you're breathing through a new hole in your head. Let him go and you walk away.
Oh, God.
You must think Batarians are stupid. What's to stop you from killing us if we let him go?
Let him live, I let you leave. Kill him, I do the same to you.
Let him go. You got what you wanted, human. Are we free to go?
How do I know you won't shoot me in the back as soon as I turn around?
Like I thought. Kill them all.
You want to end up like those Batarians? Just keep on talking. Or be smart. Turn around and get back to Morden's clinic.
This is wrong. Wait until Morden hears about this.
Heads up. Eyes up.
Well done.
Hostiles down. That only shot. Who's next?
Here they come.
My shields are down.
Watch where you're shooting. Nice shot. Did I do that? Now you see me. I think we're close. We need to get that cure into the system, then turn on the fans.
You don't come here. We shut down machines, break fans. Everyone choke and die. Then collectors make us strong.
I've had enough of this.
Collectors want plague. You work for Doctor. Turn on machines. Put cure in air. We kill you first.
Hostiles incoming.
intelligence from his Disney buses launched.
Firing concussive shot!
Down you go.
The central control system is in an alcove in the center of the back wall. You can inject the cure and reinitialize the systems there.
Against this, now Disney Plus wasn't a success, nor was Iger's acquisition. His film and Star Wars written, so he was probably regrets revealing just how
The cure's in place. Turn the fans on and we should be good.
You see, the number punchers in the 2012, when the acquisition happened, his film was worth
right behind you.
$7 million, and even that was a generous figure, because there was no film production infrastructure or pipeline at the time, and there was nothing either in the technical or development aside from relevant animation. So you can see that his film was something of a himself at this time. Instead, George Lucas had seen how Marvel had gone for $4 billion so as not to do less than Marvel. Against the recommendations of his number crunchers, Bob Iger signed off $4.05 million for his film.
Firing concussive shot!
Because Big George Lucas had that his brand was more expensive than Marvel. The difference, though, is that despite most ending wonders, the Marvel investment had by then paid off clients over. By contrast, the last time any of numbers, Disney was still in the red with their Lucasfilm investment. That means if you take everything Disney has earned on Star Wars since the prior movies, on every movie, every galactic Star Cruiser, and every commercial license, and then subtract all the costs that went into making those movies, and turns to a force.
This one's on. Let's get the other one started.
Then we get higher than we need, and on top of that, Alex Edge and Max and the Star Cruiser and everything else since the time of this film, and lest we forget, all stuff was subtracted $4.05 million acquisition from preliminary sum, and then you're going to end up with a negative number.
Cloaking!
And you say, so, you can also say this was only Star Wars altogether. Fucking jokes. So it turned out bad one. It didn't have to be that thing though. Get me run out. And the fault of that belongs to Lieutenant, who is in the process of retiring. And then take off with
Going dark.
This is the final. Disney may be looking to sell Star Wars. This I just
no.
This point, they both lost Disney hundreds of millions. And so, courtesy of Chris Gore and Alan Dean,
You know, everyone.
Here they come.
Here that Disney may want to get out.
Firing
Like from departments, exciting as Disney has been shopping the franchise for months, can't find a buyer. Over follows another. It claimed at the time that Iger wants to sell Star Wars but keep Marvel. The claim comes from film threats Chris Gore, who previously lead Marvel's fighting with top producers. According to Gore, Financial Insider told him Disney has been quietly helping Star Wars for months. No takers. This is from a friend who is not in the nerd space, not in the human space, not a media person. This is a friend in the finance who stated via the articles. Trusted individual who said for 7 months they have his dealers out without selling Star Wars. For that, they've been shown for 7 months. Place and editorial
system is in an alcove in the center of the back wall.
Sale should be possible.
You can inject the cure and reinitialize the systems there.
Star Wars films in production. Presently, its film only has the Mandalorian slated. No Star Wars.
The cure's in place. Turn the fans on and we should be good.
My wife's small team is side things and has released 8
Cloaking!
Activating fan controls. There are two, one on either side of the room you're in now.
Nice!
Themselves overpaid, and even if there was small in a sense, is
Firing an impact shot!
I've got no shit!
Nice. Worth only 3.7 billion. It is less defense than US. Thus, now it is worth more than making it up here.
This one's on. Let's get the other one started. Now you see me. Going dark.
Heads up! It's charging!
Even the holiday weekend didn't slow Doge down. There was a huge exodus over at the National Archive. Persnickety librarians were getting Doge and silly. The Dewey Decimal System's next. Then with Big Slip City, the FDA, Medicare, Medicaid, and the IRS is on deck.
These are foreign nationals coming to the United States. They use fake social security numbers, they use fake identities. You steal billions in taxpayer benefits. But no one will know until Doge gets full access exactly how much money we're talking about. But over a 10-year budget window, you can copy USA make over $1 trillion by clearing down on massive fraud and entitlement system. Again, those carried out by organized fraud and theft rings.
Biden hired 87,000 IRS agents, gave them guns, and we're getting ripped off to the tune of
Both
$1
fans
trillion.
are up and going. Let's get back to
Because
normal.
Biden had his sights set on America's real enemy, Pete Hegseth. Right before Inauguration Day, Biden's IRS
engaged. Airborne viral levels dropping,
Biden's
patients
son
improving,
tax
Fortune
chief,
retreating.
and he's
Well done,
auditing
Shepard.
Hegseth.
Thank you.
The incoming...
How can you thank these monsters? They butchered those Batarians in cold blood.
I risked my life to save you. Hell, I saved this whole damn district. Now you're judging me?
Shepard's right. Batarians tortured you, would have killed you. Right to kill them.
Professor, how can you say that? You're a doctor. You believe in helping people.
Lots of ways to help people. Sometimes heal patients, sometimes execute dangerous people. Either way helps. Go check on the patients. Lots of work to do. Think about what I said. Good kid, bit naive. He'll learn. Letting him take over the clinic. Should be able to handle it now that Forge are gone.
You don't knock, you come in the Rock's locker room, he's half naked, and you ask Rock for a favor. The Rock don't swing that way, man. That's not what I was talking about. That's college.
I honored my part of the bargain, Professor. Now you need to do the same.
Yes. Unexpected to be working with Cerberus. Many surprises. Just need to finish up here at the clinic. Won't take long. Meet you at your ship. Looking forward to it.
We're heading out. See you in the Normandy.
Welcome to the Normandy, Professor. It's an honor to have you on board.
Yes, very exciting. Cerberus working with aliens. Unexpected. Elusive man branching out, maybe? Not so human-centric.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You know how you start scrolling sometimes, you're like, what
Solarian
do I
government
do?
well-connected espionage
And then
experts
period,
had
you go,
top-level
oh,
clearance
excellent.
once. Retired
This is
now.
what you're doing.
Still, here
This
things.
is a very
Informed of name only, no knowledge of man behind it. Anti-alien reputation listed as problematic.
Solarians specialize in secret agendas. I'd expect you to understand Cerberus looking out for human interests.
The Collectors are abducting human colonists out on the fringes of terminus space.
Not simple abductions. Wouldn't need me for simple.
Entire colonies disappear without a trace. No distress signals are sent out. There are no signs of any kind of it. There's virtually no evidence that anything unusual happened at all.
Gas, maybe? No, spreads too slow. Airborne
You don't have to
virus.
yes. We collected samples from one of the colonies. I'd like to analyze them and figure out how the collectors did this.
Yes, of course. Analyze the samples. We're going to need a lab.
There's a fully equipped lab on the compound, Professor Solus. If you find anything lacking, please place a requisition order.
Who's that? Pilot? No. Synthesized voice. Simulated emotional inflections. Could it be? No. Maybe. Have to ask. Is that an AI?
You're not here to study our AI. You need to figure out how the collectors abducted those colonists so we can counteract their weapons.
Understood. Analyze samples, neutralize collector attack. Which way to the lab?
Follow me, Professor.
Shepard, how can I help you?
Have you got a minute to
Of
talk?
course. Impressive laboratories. Best setup I've seen since work with Special Tasks Group.
Is your assistant Daniel
Quite well. Safe and secure. Neighborhood mostly quiet, with plague gone. Left him the security mechs just in case. Can't be too careful. Also tired of mechs. Noisy. Never used them in STG.
You said you were in the Special Tasks Group.
Not simply research. Several recon missions. Studied Krogan genophage, water, tissue samples from Krogan colonies. Heard Kirihi died on Vermeer. Not enough equipment for operation. Still managed to take down facility. Good captain. Dedicated. Bit of a cloaca, though. Loved his speeches. Hold the line. Personally prefer to get job done and go home. Probably military bravado, jargon, chest pounding. No offense.
Why would STG study
Krogan rebellion's bloody. All species evolve, adapt, mutate. If genophage weakens, need to be prepared.
What was the STG preparing?
Military schematics for likely Krogan population growth, political scenarios for attack points. Genophage reduced Krogan numbers. Species aggression unchecked. STG helped check Krogan rebellions. Needed to be ready to do the same. Simple recon, nothing to worry about.
What can you tell me about
Bioweapon designed by Solarian science team, deployed by Turians against Krogans to end Krogan rebellions more than 1,000 years ago. Affects every cell of Krogan body. Commonly and incorrectly considered a sterility plague. Actually adjusts viable fertility rates to compensate for high Krogan birth rate. Stabilizes to pre-industrial population growth levels.
Nice talking with you, Morden.
Should get back to work. Here if you need me.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Ukraine updates. The administration announced it's not going to give intelligence to Ukraine for a while. Today, tomorrow's not. Everything's going to change over there, and maybe next week, maybe this week. Okay, but for now, the U.S. official said that information is no longer being shared with the government of Ukraine. Okay, another negotiating thing. However, Zelensky's in Brussels, Belgium, for emergency talks with European leaders. Good. Good. I mean, I want Europe to do more to help Ukraine. And I want the mineral deal with Ukraine Ukraine for the USA, which I think is going to happen. Okay. Now, here's something very interesting. We have a poll on BillO'Reilly.com. Should we continue funding Ukraine? Most of the initial volleys say no. They're willing to walk away from Ukraine, which, of course, if Putin participated in the poll, and I understand he gets a lot of what we say, he would say, no. Putin would go, no. Okay? So he'd be on the majority. But this has happened in the past, and people don't know. So in 1956, the Soviet Union controlled Hungary, the country of Hungary. And the Hungarians didn't want this oppression, so they rose up, and there was a rebellion. Well, the Red Army marched right in there because Soviets were controlling, and they killed about 3,000 civilians, Hungarians, and wounded 20,000, and arrested 26,000, sent them to the Gulag out in Siberia. I mean, we didn't do anything. That's right. We didn't do a thing. All right? Then in 1968, 12 years later, same thing in Czechoslovakia. They were tired of the Soviets on their necks, and they tried to rebel. Once again, Soviet forces, army was marching right in. All right? And killed 137 civilians, wounded more than 500. We didn't do a thing. That was Johnson. He's tied up in Vietnam, Finland, and then China takes over Tibet. Communists in Beijing, they got everything over Tibet. That's the Dalai Lama. Listen to this. 1.2 Tibetans have been killed by the Chinese communists. 1 million. And out of that number, it's estimated that 100,000 were tortured in Chinese concentration camps.
Freedom's progress has been attacked by unknown sources.
But it's a different situation because Putin is on one. So there was no danger of the Soviet Union not stopping in Hungary or Czechoslovakia and going into Germany and Austria and think, oh,
there seemed to be a model.
Putin will go as far as...
I don't know, Captain
That's why
Good talking to you.
So this guy is Hitler. Okay? He doesn't have the capacity to kill him.
Every credit goes toward a ticket to get me off this forsaken rock.
No one in their right mind would pay these prices for salvaged parts.
So,
I know. It's crippling my sales.
In this discussion.
Drop your prices and I'll consider
This
buying.
is a very strange.
Otherwise, I'll keep walking.
I get a lot of
You're right.
Thousands.
I'll give you whatever you like for the original price. And if this gets back to Harris, I'll deal with it then.
Get a lot of people writing about internet stuff. Okay? Which is insane.
I have to go.
Telling you,
please check with my kiosk to see what I have for sale.
Your life is
Thank you.
going to be a shambles because you're not going to know what's true and what isn't true. One of the themes lately has been that the Democrats encouraged Zelensky to misbehave at the Oval Office meeting last Friday. I can't tell you
I have to go.
Letters I've done. Well, the Democrats did this. Here's what happened. Okay? Before the meeting, there was a breakfast at the Hay Adams Hotel, which is in Washington, D.C.
Tentatively excited.
Okay?
Welcome,
And
human.
there were 11
What can I get?
senators.
With pride, courteously, have a fine day.
And
Take a look at my kiosk if you want
here's
to
how
buy.
Lindsey Graham described it.
President Trump is very excited. President Zelensky is very excited about this economic deal. $500 billion, folks. It's a big deal. This is not Peacemaker on this one.
Okay, that was before the meeting.
I might have
after,
something here for you. Not much.
After the senator came out of having breakfast with Zelensky. Everything was fine. Everybody was happy. According to Lindsey Graham and all these other senators had said, while no formal statement has been issued, so Murphy is top from in the Senate now. And he said, quote, just finished a meeting with President Zelensky here in Washington. Confirmed that the Ukrainian people will not support the peace agreement, but Putin gets everything he wants and there are no security arrangements in Ukraine.
Okay? That's murder. And it's implying that he had a meeting with Zelensky. Just for the meeting with Zelensky. He doesn't say it with 10 other senators. He didn't have a private meeting with Murphy. He was in the same meeting with Graham and all the other senators. Who none of them say that
You might snare a few tourists with these prices, but I'm not giving you a single credit.
Sure, you can find things cheaper if you're willing to risk the black market.
And Murphy's doing this because he hates Trump. You don't think he hates Trump?
Well, you and I could do business if you'd just charge what this crap
The
is
only
worth.
qualification of Donald Trump for you to serve in government is if you pledge a loyalty oath to him personally and are willing to facilitate his corruption. He is trying to turn government into an enrichment vehicle for his billionaire friends. He wants to steal from ordinary people in order to help his moral goals. And if you aren't interested in that agenda, then you are the President of the United States.
Murphy puts out that he met with Zelensky, he told Zelensky, don't accept this. Now, I can't back up 100%, but all the evidence that I have accumulated, I have it. But the media picked it up, and that's why I'm getting letters about it.
Sources say that the Asari Shaira, more commonly known may be leading citizens
At any time, sign up to be on the bill or any
job that needs doing or employees that just won't work? Let us help. I'm Ruth Genera, CEO of Genera Staffing Services. We employ a large force of driven, dedicated fortune workers ready to address your security needs. We have the largest number of breeding females and unadapted younglings in the terminus systems, and we can produce fortune workers to your specifications.
So Democrats are being called out by their own party for their behavior.
End is not.
John and Kate plus Kate. Why would anyone watch a house with
members, the Turian military intends to
What they did
representatives of the
to the show was the dynamic between me and King. By the late 2000s, audiences can't get enough of John and Kate Gosling. Why? Just a good cop, bad cop. Stop it.
What are you looking
But
at?
the family melodrama soon gives way to something darker.
It was a total downward spiral.
The man whose day I'm about to ruin.
It doesn't really matter what the truth
I'm not
was.
looking for trouble.
Until living
Maybe
life
I
in a
am.
reality TV bubble.
Maybe you better get out of here before I find you some.
My mother had to put me somewhere where I wouldn't be able to get the secrets out.
Let's get out of here.
He's chugging along.
She hasn't seen a parent in almost a year and a half.
It's just hard to see what she did.
You just know better.
It's just a really dark part of our past.
At the start, John and Kate Gosling present audiences with an irresistible dilemma. How would you respond if this was you?
basic appeal at the beginning was, what is it like for this unimaginable task of having 6 newborns? Yes.
I hear you're recruiting.
And they were, let's face
You'll
it,
get paid on the job. Who's next?
itchingly cute kids.
Somehow the two young parents make it work.
Aren't you sweet? You're in the wrong place, honey. Strippers' quarters are that way.
John and Kate plus 8.
Show me yours, tough guy.
Sort of
I bet mine's bigger.
Impressive. So, you're here to fight them?
That's how it started.
It's a really bad thing. However, the facts appear in the facade of this fairy tale family. Kate and I have decided to separate.
Sure, if this is the place to go after Archangel.
This is the place. Standard fee is 500 credits each. You need your own weapons and armor. And no, this does not make you a member of the Blue Suns, Eclipse, or the Blood Pack. You are a freelancer, period. Any questions?
I'm John Gosselin, and in the 2000s, I was the second most hated person in America.
Just head over to the transport depot. Send in the next one.
So weird. Like
Hey, is this where I sign up?
You look a little young to be freelancing as a merc.
I'm old enough.
Some of the suburbs
I grew up on Omega.
Reading,
I know how to use a gun.
Cute town.
You'll need to know more than that if you want to survive.
And in
I can handle
1997,
myself.
I was 19 years old.
Besides, I just spent
I was
50 credits on this
working at a
pistol, and I
hotel
want
at
to
the
use it.
The hotel had a company picnic. So
If you're
I was
sure
like, oh,
registration's
cool.
in here,
I'm gonna go.
good luck.
And that's where I met Kate.
Perfect.
And we just got to
Thanks.
talking, and it kind of all fell together.
The young couple soon marries and plans to start a family. When a medical condition means Kate likely can't get pregnant without fertility treatment.
The odds of getting pregnant on IVF then were not that great. So we used a procedure called IUI, which is intrauterine insemination.
Come on, let me
Way
in.
less expensive, and my HMO at the time would cover all the medical and prescriptions.
IUI also increases
Omega,
the chance of
what a
multiple
piss
birth.
hole.
And sure
At least
enough,
it keeps
9
you on
months
your
later,
toes.
the couple
I've had to
welcomes
come here on
twins,
business
Matt
before.
and Tara.
I feel like I need a shower afterward, in addition to normal
John and Kate
decontamination.
want a bigger family, so they try IUI one last time.
I think Carol was like 3 years old, and there was a conversation back then about having a sibling for them. Well, that turned out to be more than 2, more than 3, more than 4, more than 5.
Yeah, the first time I became aware of the Goslins was when I was employed at the Reading Eagle newspaper. Kate or someone in her orbit contacted the paper and said, we would like if somebody from the paper would follow pregnancy. You can get a good story about it. Of course, the paper jumped at it. I'm Al Valentis, and during the 2000s, I covered the John and Kate Goslin story for a couple of national tabloid publications.
After a complicated pregnancy, premature births, and months in intensive care, the Goslin sextuplets head home to face a curious public.
The sextuplets were born in 2004, and it was 3 boys, 3 girls: Aiden, Colin, Joel, Leah, Hannah, and Alexis.
Along with feeding, dressing, and changing diapers for 6 newborns, John and Kate need to find a way to pay the bills for their oversized family.
I wasn't working at the time. I lost my job due to the pregnancy and insurance carriers and all this kind of stuff. So we were just winging it on Medicaid.
The young parents lean on their church and community for support.
Our church renovated our house. We had a team of 75 volunteers coming to our house for feedings and diaper changes and all this stuff.
Even with all this help, the Goslins continue to struggle financially, leaving them open to an offer from a small cable TV channel.
So we filmed a 1-hour documentary for Discovery Health. It was called Surviving Sextuplets and Twins. It turned out to be the highest rated documentary they ever had on Discovery Health.
My child. My daughter needs an aunt.
13, 14 months go by, and we're approached again to do a follow-up, and that documentary had higher ratings than the original. I love her, buddy. It's great.
The Goslins there, but for the grace of God, go I family situation resonates with viewers, and Discovery Health soon makes them a new kind of offer.
So a couple months down the road, I got a call at work. Kate was like, they want us to film a reality show. I'm like,
What's a reality show? May 31st, 2000, the first American edition of Survivor. That brought reality TV to the big time. And then it went to all these fascinating places. My name is Robert Thompson. I'm a professor at Syracuse University, and I spent the 2000s never missing an episode of Survivor, never missing an episode of The Bachelor, and never missing an episode of Here Comes Honey.
By the mid-2000s, reality TV dominates U.S. airwaves.
Reality TV in the beginning was more like a chemistry experiment, the equivalent of what would happen if we took a tiny table and we put a big jug of nitroglycerin on it, and we pushed the nitroglycerin to the edge of the table, and then we put 10 kittens in the room, and we'll watch what happens.
John and I both always knew we wanted to have kids.
Never imagined we'd have this many.
With the Goslings, the nitroglycerin is their 8 kids. And Discovery Health is planning to be there with cameras rolling when the explosions happen.
There goes the master of direction. Let's follow Kate. You don't even know where you're going, do you?
John and Kate Plus 8 premieres in 2007 and shows the very real Gosling family reacting to situations dreamed up by the show's producers.
So it wasn't really reality. The people are real, but it's more of a docudrama. We'll bring the toys. We'll go on a pre-planned adventure where everything is mapped out. So there's money in the basement.
The circus of 8 kids is entertaining.
You came all the way down here to see us?
You're speaking to our commanding officer.
Really
I didn't hear an officer on deck. I run this ship military. Do you think this is all a joke?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, no, ma'am.
Won't happen again.
At ease. Who are you?
I'm Engineer Ken Donnelly, handling the power control systems. This is Gabby.
That's Engineer Gabriella Daniels, actually. I'm responsible for the propulsion systems.
What can we do for you, Commander?
Are you set up okay down here?
I can't complain. I just wish it didn't take so long to calibrate the FBA arrays.
Kenneth, you're complaining.
What kind of problems are you having?
When they upgraded the Normandy design, I won't bore you with the tech.
Kenneth, in short, if we had T6 FBA couplings installed...
Why isn't something like that already installed?
It's probably just a design oversight. Efficiency isn't affected. It's a maintenance issue.
Also, the T6 model can be hard to find.
We could probably find used ones in the Omega markets, but we have no time for shorting.
To its more successful family-friendly channel,
Carry on.
TLC.
Will do, Commander. I'm amazed the ship came down to see us.
Human question. Are you ready to take on this challenge? We're ready.
Through the early 2000s, a slate of wholesome reality shows turned TLC into a top 10 cable network, reaching almost 80 million homes.
Chef surprise again? Come on, Rupert.
Really
Commander,
Sergeant Rupert Gardner
here. I make taking down the collectors is
We need to stay
of course.
By
They're a determined group.
I won't take
Back
you.
to work.
Gives way to uncommon and unexpected.
My name is Matt Rolla. This is my wife, Amy.
A gunnery officer is required to
TLC was
access the
looking for
gunnery control
shows
station.
about unusual families. Something out
How
of
can
the
I help you,
ordinary.
Commander?
We need to stay focused. I won't take any more of your
Back
time.
to work.
Fits a bill.
How can I help you, Commander? Taking down.
What do
If
you
I
need?
had some quality
If
I had that,
else,
I won't take any more.
back to work.
Airing on TLC. And immediately becomes the network's
Commander,
highest rated show.
what can I do?
Do you have a minute, Miranda?
No doubt you've got a lot. Cerberus isn't as evil. So, what would you like to
Tell me about yourself, Miranda.
They were
Well,
making
you should
about
probably know that I've had it's one of the reasons the elusive man handpicked me. I'm very good at
So your
just about
travel's paid
anything I
for,
choose
you
to
get per
do.
diem, you know, you're doing Good Morning America, that's getting paid. Your incentives are huge.
There you go. But along with more money, TLC brings much more attention.
So it went from 20 million to 90 million households overnight. It changed everything. Super famous. In our hometown, everyone knew us and kind of left us alone. It's when we went to New York. We went to LA. We filmed at like Legoland.
That's
and it
very
was just like,
might add to that some
people
of the
knew.
best.
Exactly.
Of course, Commander. Whatever you need.
And they want to know more. The tabloid press is happy to oblige. But the reports of John and Kate's life off camera are provide a very different show than what's airing.
I watched the Normandy trial.
You're serving on a Cerberus vessel now?
Not
Surprising.
everybody in a
Even to
successful
me.
TV show becomes a tragedy
Here I am.
in the third
The
act.
kind of trauma you
Not an
endured
awful
would have
lot.
changed most
Becoming
people.
famous
But
is
not
Do you have everything you need?
I believe so. This medical bay seems very much like the only thing missing are my I even had a bottle of Ceres Ice brandy.
Keep an eye out for a replacement bottle.
Oh, you needn't. It's expensive. And we
I'll
have
see you later,
Commander.
John, Kate, and their 8 kids become one of America's most talked about families.
Everything really culminated between season 3 and 4. Same ones. We're on Good Morning America, Today Show. We're doing a lot of press. That's when I started to realize that this is bigger than just filming a reality show at home.
He's not alone. Kate also sees opportunity in their growing fame, and she begins to take
Access
advantage.
to life support is restricted.
The credit goes to Kate for having a vision of what she could do to build a show around their family.
I can't see anyone. Everyone get the likes of my house.
I think whatever you say about Kate, she is great at self-promotion, at creating her persona.
Between book tours, the family upgrades to a camera-friendly 23-acre estate.
We're sitting in our new house. Here we are. The magic of television.
Good job, guys. Big money's coming into play. And that's when I knew that we had a really good thing going business-wise.
But John and Kate's commercial success masked the negative impact the show is having on some of the Plus 8.
The world.
Looking back at my childhood, it was different than someone would expect an average childhood to be because my life was very public.
What was I doing in 2000s? Well, in the 2000s I was born. But I'm Colin Gosselin, and in the 2000s I was on John and Kate Plus 8.
I'm Haley Gosselin, and in the 2000s, I was born into a reality TV show. Ready? Set?
I was about 3 or 4 years old when the show started. To be honest, I don't really have any clear memories of before the cameras were there. You know, they were always there.
Oh yeah, let's cut the top off. Ready?
I was always used to having cameras around. You're just being filmed while you eat breakfast or while you eat lunch.
You just don't register the fact that they're there. You know, someone else wakes up in the morning, they do their daily routine, you know, they don't think it's crazy, they think it's normal. So that's kind of how it was for us. It was normal.
In like February of, I want to say 2007 or 8, we filmed every single day except for 2.
Stick your hands on your eyes.
There were definitely times where I would wake up and I was like, really? Like, is it necessary? Do the cameras have to be here? But there was definitely those times where I wanted that day off.
I never felt like I was forced into filming, but some days I didn't feel up to it, but I still did it.
You could have said it in a very mature, husbandly way.
There were times where I didn't want to film anymore. I was stuck. Our Valerie on why I got in a huge fight with my EP.
I look forward to many, many more years of love and happiness as we probably got so happy together.
In August 2008, TLC sends the Goslings on an elaborate Hawaiian getaway to renew their vows on their 10th wedding anniversary.
By my side always. By your side, I promise to be a good listener. I promise to ask, how may I help you, honey?
As the show ends its 4th season in March 2009, the audience is left believing John and Kate's marriage is as rock solid as ever. So what happens next stuns the show's millions of fans.
A couple of weeks later, John is photographed with a local school teacher leaving a nightclub late one night. The photographer tipped off by somebody at the establishment. Somebody said, John's here with some woman. They're very flirtatious. And I think they're leaving together. Could you come out? This guy had a good camera. He parked himself in front of John's car with a literal deer in the headlights photo.
I was scared shitless. I didn't really know what to do. I've never been photographed like that outside of anything. And the poor girl I'm with is like, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know.
When when the first story broke, that was an absolute shock. This marriage was not all it appeared to be.
John, you can help by standing in here instead of wandering.
John's alleged cheating is what it appears to be. Years later, it will be revealed that at the time of the photograph, John and Kate have already been separated for months.
You have your own and you have a whole house. Mid-season 4, I was done. That's when, like, our separation started. From now on, I'm not going to say anything. Hopefully this conversation's over.
John had not even been living in the main house since at least the autumn.
No, when I'm freaking out, it's because I'm frustrated.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes that you didn't talk about to anyone, especially press.
Because John and Kate breaking up is not in the script.
It could change it.
This was really bad news for TLC, because this is their big hit. It's their signature at this point. I think TLC was making an effort to say, this is the storyline.
The dossier doesn't say if Akira is on this planet by choice. Assume hostiles.
Forget about what your real life is following.
But the tabloids have
Broadcasting orders over loudspeaker.
There are certain things in the tabloids that sell. Cheating seems to bring a lot of attention. I don't let them say the word. John and Kate's little town is just inundated.
Charming.
Stay focused. We're looking for a Krogan warlord.
Us Weekly, I was there for them. The National Enquirer had somebody. People Magazine had somebody. In Touch Magazine had somebody.
I live in a really small town. No one doesn't even know what paparazzi is. Now I have 40 dudes following me around. Everywhere I go. Grocery store, club, bar, everything.
And some reporters will at any length feed the gossip machine. It's not an interesting time for anyone to make money.
Anyone I associate with in my hometown.
My shields are down.
And each publication is, we don't want to miss what the others have. And it didn't really matter. The truth was, if somebody said something, it was worth reporting.
Gossip outlets document the happening of the Gosling marriage in real time, and the public shares their obsession.
There's a reason why the tabloids covered it. People were fascinated by the fact that this family that was supposed to have it all was so adorable and cute and had all these children.
Doesn't look that bad, actually.
Really opened their lives to everyone.
I knew it wasn't berserkers. Not at range. You're mercs or Alliance. I'm not telling you anything.
You're not in the best bargaining position. I'm looking for a Krogan named Okir.
Who? You already know more than I do. I just killed Krogan. The old one in the lab dumps crazy ones down here all the time. Jador hired him to make her an army, but the Krogan he creates are insane. So we use them for live ammo training. It's all crap. I don't get paid enough to goddamn bleed out.
Outpost 4, Jador wants us to move. We need coordinates on that Krogan patch.
You heard the man on the radio. He needs direction.
I don't have the info they want. You showed up before I could get my normal sightings.
You have other problems.
Patrol,
sometimes guys gotta work.
Bitch. They'll run blind in the Krogan.
Season 5 premiere of John and Kate +8.
If you start limping now, you might find a shady spot before you bleed out.
Birthday party. It was
The scare was a nice touch.
We had
Thought
these
so.
huge
Come on.
houses
Our warlord
and
is somewhere in
it
Jador's
was
lab.
adorable. Right there.
But TLC has hyped trouble in the Gosling's marriage to attract viewers.
I know that you and Kate.
And John and Kate spend most of the episode talking about themselves.
Hostiles ahead, watch it.
Where you guys are right now.
I've got no shields!
This is a couple on the skids, and they have 8 kids. What's going to happen? Are they going to get divorced? Are they going to reconcile?
I'm here every minute that working doesn't require me to.
You're going to tune in because you're
not difficult.
Away from the car crash.
The miracle was of John and Kate Goslin hands up for their TV show and their company TLC.
The season 5 premiere of
finale. All this drama from just the season opener means viewers are sure to stay tuned.
And when episode 6 airs in late June,
this is the hardest episode ever.
Right. The show finally continues the truth since the middle of season 4.
It was the most uncomfortable interview ever.
The same day the separation episode airs, Kate files for divorce. The couple will also make it clear that John and Kate plus 8, the show, will carry on.
We interview separately. And we'll film different things. Me and the kids, her and the kids.
How does the show go on? The show must go on.
Which kind of did surprise me because I don't think anybody who was really concerned about it other than her felt the show must go on.
Even Kate's own family believes the show should end for the good of the Gosling children.
They're being exploited. It's time for movement to see the situation for what it really is.
You've got 8 young kids, and possibly consent to being suddenly on a reality show.
I love you.
So, to TLC, make your like 80 episodes of the show in just 2 years, leading to concerns about working conditions.
The issue of work permits and a big consideration that people are talking about, are they being exploited illegally to be on television?
No one is looking at these children. What they are going through and the life consequences they are going through.
The state opens an investigation into the show for possible child labor violations, though the case is ultimately dismissed. But for the newly single John, what's going on with his kids?
Celebrities from old John Gosling. I'll admit, I was really poor at handling all of that whole situation. I reverted back to being how I was before I met Kate. I literally reverted back to being 19 years old.
Forced to John Gosling moves to New York City to enjoy all the advantages his speed and money can buy.
I just went crazy. I spent money like this. As fast as I spent it, it was just different. Everything that's bad that people read about me happened in 6 months.
Perception is somewhat of the equivalent of a life crisis.
Alongside the guy tops the nuts out there. And I'm only 32. I hope I don't die.
We've been spotted.
From 2010 till now was my road to recovery. Just to recover from situations.
John's last 6 months also threatens TLC's family advantage and the channel's biggest driver of revenue.
Making 8 months of money. No one deserves that.
Or is the 86 million or just for trying to keep us? It's a lot of money.
Despite John living his wild, single life, TLC tries to keep the couple together, at least on TV.
TLC wanted to keep the narrative going. Not sure to finish out the season and just stay married. They said, no, I'm not going to film. You have to film. I don't have to do anything.
Kate also has a financial incentive to keep John in the relationship, so she makes an only-on-reality TV proposition.
Kate actually had set up a meeting with Dr. Phil to meet with Kate and John together and to encourage John to sign some paperwork saying, I will stay married to Kate with the agreement that he can have outside relationships.
Are different.
I was like, well, just stay married on TV and do your own
you
thing
don't
on the
smell
side.
like this world.
And I'm like, no.
7 night cycles,
John
and I
claims
felt only
TLC
the need
then
to
tries to
kill.
tempt him with a
But
big payday.
The network
something
offered
makes
about
me
2.1 million.
He's only a week old.
When word of the offer hits the tabloids, it's reported as only $1 million. But whatever the amount, John turns it down.
I refused to film being portrayed. If I wasn't going to do that, it's lying all the way around. It's lying to my friends, family, TV, public, whatever. My goal was to raise the children together, divorced. I pitched that.
TLC takes a different approach. They drop John from the show.
John thought they couldn't get rid of him on TLC. They need him. But he became such a detriment to the image that they wanted that they decided, okay, the family's getting divorced. We don't need John. We'll make it Kate plus 8.
John responds to being dumped in any way he knows how on television.
His name's been dropped from the show. He wants to play his house. He's threatening to shut down.
He must know something.
Survive.
Is it about money or the kids?
That is what the voice in the water said.
Control ego.
On October 1st, 2009, John and his attorney appear on Larry King Live.
Show us the way. Help us
And his
No
kids
will to
also
fight back?
I will fight if they come.
I don't
I
think
am
it's
not
healthy
perfect.
for them. And the reason I don't think it's healthy for
Don't
them
like
is
the
that
look
we're
of
going
that.
through divorce
Stay
right now.
alert.
I don't think it should be televised, and I think my kids should be taken off the show. Kate wanted to continue filming with the kids, obviously, and I didn't want to continue filming with the kids.
It was okay in the past. Do you think it was ever healthy?
I don't. And, you know, if you were in my position, what would you do? I think my parents had very, very, very different perspectives on TV. My dad really understood on the level that he wanted his kids to be able to live a normal life and have a normal childhood.
In a statement to Larry King, Kate says John is rewriting history.
I do the show for my family because I believe it provides us opportunities we wouldn't otherwise have. John used to share that belief. So as recently as the day the network announced the name change of the show, it indicated that John would have a lesser role in the show.
Whatever John's motive, TLC has no choice but to stand down their cameras.
Don't like the look of that. Stay alert.
I literally put a sign to my house saying, "Don't come in here for don't call it trespassing," which is breach of contract, which they sued me for.
TLC is looking to collect $5 million. The two sides settle out of court, but John has to agree to significant limitations.
I can't talk in the press for at least 10 years. And I won't talk
And in November 2009, while the couple's divorce is still being finalized, John and Kate plus 8 airs its final episode.
You thought I was harmless, did you?
What are your feelings about how this series came to an end?
It's sad. It's needless. It's useless. You know, it's totally avoidable.
But the Gosselin family
it took its long mentally. So really, the series came to an end.
It's sad. It's needless. It's useless. You know, it's totally avoidable.
But the Gosselin family drama is about to claim its first young victim.
I think being in an institution, it took a toll on me mentally. Dark place. Pretty scary.
In 2010, carries their new show, Kate plus 8.
They're through my shields!
TLC arms Kate with a new look and more far-flung family outings. Which means John is spending less and less time with his children.
Parents can use this thing called co-parenting, but unfortunately my parents couldn't do that. So, you know, my dad and I, we couldn't maintain much relationship. We didn't talk much.
After the divorce, Kate is more than fully with custody of the kids.
There's no two adult perspectives. It's me.
She just did whatever she wanted to do, without my consent.
Whatever she wanted to do includes finding ways to keep herself and her kids on television. Well, when TLC cancels Kate plus 8 in 2011.
What do you think is next? I hope a job.
Kate is determined to stay in the spotlight.
Kate had been on a variety of other TV shows.
Kate really, to some extent, needs a serial reality TV person.
Kate Bosner's with us today.
She was on, I never know since ago, Celebrity Apprentice.
Until 2015. When TLC brings back Kate plus 8 for a new season of episodes featuring the much older twins and sextuplets.
I will give you one chance at this moment to apologize, change your attitude, and come back, and that's your last redemption.
Oh. Okay, so my mother, she's very controlling, and, you know, she's determined. She knows what she wants, and she gets what she wants.
Get your I'm in trouble eyes off, because you're not in trouble. You just know better.
But on the new series, Colin would become a casualty of the family's return to television.
We've had this conversation.
Colin's story is really the tragedy of the kids.
Back on John and Kate plus,
this might be useful.
Colin was always a bit more of a handful than his siblings.
I was definitely one of those, you know, run wild kind of kids.
Excellent. What else did you say instead of your hair looks ugly?
Like Kate plus C, Colin his life on camera.
Do you think of something?
There was just this point in filming that, you know, I was like, I don't want to show up on camera anymore. I was quiet. I would sit there and just be completely silent in interviews, or, you know, not interact or not do what I had to do.
Kate responds by treating Colin differently from his siblings.
He would be separated from us. Like, he would not get to come and play outside with us. He would eat dinner at different times than us.
I'm not going to say I was a perfect child, but I'd say my misbehaving was no different from my siblings.
I don't think effort was made in the home to help him learn what behavior is acceptable and what behavior is not acceptable.
I know my mother was going through a lot of things. I mean, a divorce and plenty of different things that can't be easy to go through. And, you know, I want to think that she needed something to take out her anger and her frustration on me. And it's just kind of me. You know, I was in the way and I was there, so she chose me.
The show returns in 2016.
The major difference between this party and every other birthday party is the fact that Colin is
Colin is no longer living with the rest of the family.
Had him diagnosed with some behavioral disorder and had him separated and put in a special school.
Kate sent 12-year-old Colin to Fairmount Behavioral Health Institute, a psychiatric hospital in Philadelphia.
I was not able, with my own resources here, to meet his needs.
He was actually sent away for more disturbing reasons.
I was trying to tell my teachers that, you know, my mother was a real big freak. I used to look at things that they had.
Are you trying to say your mother was abusive to you?
Well, yes. I mean, that's kind of the reason why she sent me away. But, you know, so tell people what's going on at home, and, you know, she called wind that and had to put me somewhere where I wouldn't be able to get the secrets out, so.
Kate firmly denies Colin's allegations.
I've been investigated many times. It's always unfounded. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Colin must settle into his new home alone.
Being in an institution, it took a toll on me mentally. It was a really, really dark place. You know, I was myself. I didn't have anybody else. You know, I had no support system. It was scary. I was confused. I was lost.
Kate wants to while Colin's siblings and father remain in the dark about his whereabouts.
So I used to go to my kids' school and punch them all out, and that's when I would see them. I could see them all collectively. One day, I look around and say, "Where's Colin?" And they don't say anything, which really scared me. I'm like, "Where's your brother?" So I go to the guidance counselor, Miss Foster. Where's Colin? Oh, he's not enrolled here anymore. I'm like, "What do you mean he's not enrolled here anymore?" Like, he's not here anymore. But I can't talk more about that.
Without legal custody, John struggled to discover what happened to his son.
John said that he has no idea what Colin is, and that he has not seen him in the past. He claims that you won't tell him where Colin is. We are both court-ordered not to speak about the care and custody of our children in detail. I've known all along where he is, but the world doesn't know, and I'll leave it at that. John's in that world.
I went to court, and we subpoenaed them, asked
Where's Colin? Where's Colin? Where's Colin? You know, and I got continuance.
He couldn't find his own son. He had no rights to know where he was. How is that possible?
Then in 2017, John receives a heartbreaking handwritten letter from Colin.
I wrote a letter to my dad with just the address of the institution I was at. I got that letter written in crayon from Colin, telling me to get him out of Maryland. I was scared. You know, I needed someone to bail me out.
John shares the shocking news about Colin's whereabouts with his family members.
The day I found out, I said, I'm not going home. Like, I'm not going back to his house. And my dad was like, what?
I got really nervous, you know, because I violated my custody order.
John goes to court.
I filed this is a multi-custody. Packed up the stuff.
Thought I was harmless.
I never in my wildest dreams ever thought I would be full custody.
Meanwhile, Colin has been relocated to a different institution. Even farther away from his family.
It's a lot easier to put someone in than just to get someone out. If I call him up and say, I'm coming to Pittsburgh, they're like, he hasn't seen a parent now in almost a year and a half. Kate didn't visit him. Nothing.
When John finally sees his son again, he's shocked by Colin's parents.
I don't recognize him. It's been 3 years now. He looks like a different human being. He's on a lot of medication. And then I go to this doctor, I'm like, why is my son here? What is his diagnosis? Oh, we're going to figure that out. So I'm like, you don't have to figure anything out. I'm going to fight to get him out of here. I went to court. Psychobals, testimony. I spent $1 million getting my son out. Everything I had, I spent.
But the fallout from Colin's custody battle will create a permanent rift between the Gosling children.
They don't talk to Colin. They've decided to not have a relationship with him.
It will also leave the curtain finally coming down on the Gosling's time together. In 2019, TLC produces a Kate Plus 8 special celebrating the twins starting college.
Do you think that they're gonna miss you?
No.
But Colin's release from the psychiatric facility sparks new public scrutiny and custody fights. By the end of the year, TLC quietly drops Kate and her other 7 kids from the network. Meanwhile, life for John +2 is full of adjustments.
There was a lot of catching up to do, for sure. You know, I didn't know anything about him. He didn't know anything about me. You know, the last time I'd seen him, I was so young. A lot of new things to figure out.
Resentments also lingered over how Colin was treated.
We did not talk to Colin for years while he was in the facility. You know, we didn't even know where he was. So that was a big thing for me because I couldn't comprehend why my mom would do that to one of our siblings, you know, her own kid. That is like a really dark part of our past.
But Colin's other siblings seem to think differently.
They don't talk to Colin. I eventually found out what happened to him, but now they've decided to just not have a relationship that one down.
Colin has not spoken to his other siblings since 2016.
I think my mom kind of drove a social barrier between us. She told them the story one way. Obviously, I see the story a different way.
Still, the majority of the Gosling kids remain firmly on Team Kate.
I have no access to kids I'm estranged from. I have no idea why they stopped coming. I have no answers. Like, none. It's the worst. I'd rather be like, you're an asshole, or, you know, I hate you, and you did this to mom, or it's the whole thing. I have nothing. It's like, I have no closure.
Post-reality show fame, John tries his best to get on with his life.
When it was all over, I just went back to work. I literally just went back to IT. You should see people's faces when I showed up to fix their stuff. It was hilarious. I think it was like Candid Camera or something.
With her own TV fame winding down, Kate sells the big house in Pennsylvania in 2021. She moves to North Carolina with her remaining kids, renews her nursing license, and drops out of the public eye.
Who's to blame for the family's breakup is up for debate. But for Colin, the impact of reality TV can't be ignored.
I didn't know who my mom was before TV, but I think she was a different person. I think she has a good heart and she has good intentions, but TV and fame and money changes people.
It's exciting, the thought of being on a reality show. It's even more exciting to be famous and earn money. But in the end, you don't want to sell your life to the world.
Hey, guys, this is I think I'm of a mind that we didn't think ahead, that we're having a blast while there are children who are the focus of the show, but we're not thinking about what's going to happen with them.
The Gosling's them.
But I'm hoping it doesn't really happen to anyone else. And if it does, and they see this interview and they make the same mistakes I made, that's on them.
John still lives in Pennsylvania, where he works as an IT specialist and DJ. He was invited to tell her side of the story for this program. She did not respond to our producer's request. Anna, now in college, is trying to mend her relationship with her mother.
When I decided to move in with my dad, I didn't have a relationship with her. And now I would say my relationship with her, I would say we're trying to fix our relationship, at least talk to each other more.
I was in a dark place mentally.
In late 2022, a month after a near-fatal car crash, Colin sits down with Entertainment Tonight to talk about the accident and his estranged family's response.
What happened with Elsie Mobile? Next thing I know, car was flipped.
Your mom or any of your siblings pay attention to you after the accident?
No, I didn't hear anything from any of them. They didn't reach out at all. I love them to death. I really hope one day we can all reconnect and put the show behind us. Just be siblings again, take that as something we didn't have.
MTV came up with CRL, Total Request Live. I think it's a total for them to be effective. CRL is the phone. How did we decide which videos to play?
Change the name of the business and start speculating to get on CRL.
Fans became army show's New York City studio.
We shut down Times Square. It was chaos.
Watching people just lose their shit. And that leads some to lose their lives.
There was a company that was rigging the game. It was cheating, actually.
I started getting fanful about like themes. That's not what I signed up for.
TRL just produced this giant pop monster.
Sometimes when you fly too close to the sun, it burns.
Sometimes touch emerging stars.
98 Degrees, Korn, Limp Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Eminem.
Everything for everybody. That's the destination program.
Ranked number 7. Starting out as a simple countdown show, TRL becomes must-see TV for the millennial generation. On TRL, the audience decides what music is playing. And that empowers teens to express their opinions years before social media.
Twitter before Twitter. It was the internet before the internet.
We didn't have that, so talking like the old guy up in my rocking chair saying back in my day, we had TRL.
TRL's rocket ship ride to pop culture dominance is born out of MTV losing altitude as the 90s come to an end. Success in the 1980s.
I want my MTV.
Life on fire. By simply playing videos all day and night.
Realizes content to keep viewers interested. How I make this mind that I'm the author of Millennial Film Video Stars, MTV's transition to reality television.
Welcome back to the Headbang Club.
So you start to have this programming that viewers can depend on. So when you come home from school, you can watch Club MTV. If you stay up really late, you can watch Headbangers Fall.
This reinvention of MTV in the early 90s works. MTV is cool again.
Nirvana marches.
MTV at the time was the place to be for music. It was where all the cream rise to the top. If you were on MTV, you made it. That was basically what it signified to be on MTV. You made it. I'm Caduce, and in the 2000s, I was hosting Total Quest Live and partying way more than any human should. Fans were so excited about types of MTV set, like the beach house, the ring, known for being the party that everybody wanted to be at. But keeping that party going proves difficult.
TV is always having to refigure what it's doing.
By the mid-90s, the newest generation of teen viewers stopped buying what was selling.
The content that made Gen Z happy, that was no longer created for millennials. Ratings started to decline, and MTV is trying to find its edge again.
Don't go away. Begins with a flashy new home in New York City. In 1997, MTV takes over a vacant bank on the second floor of 1550 Broadway. It transforms it into a glass-fronted TV studio. It's the window to a new... The idea behind the glass studio was if we had a home right in the middle of the best, most well-known front yard in the world, Times Square, how could people not know about us, not to see us, and pay attention to us? I'm Bob Cusbin. I was the head of production at MTV and I was told 3 weeks after I was hired, look, you gotta fire all the DJs, except Bill Melby and Kennedy. I think you gotta to actually launch the programming in that studio. In the summer of 97, one of those new hires is 24-year-old disc jockey Carson. Carson was a DJ in K-Rock in Los Angeles. So he was hired as a summer DJ. What we were looking for at the time were people who knew music, loved music, and were going to be great music ambassadors to the audience. Carson was that. He might not have looked edgy, he might not have looked like a rock star, but he music, you know.
Hi, my name is Carson Daly. I am the, is it official? I'm the official host.
Started at a show called Into Live. I thought that
Neutralize.
in the 2000s I would be swimming tumbles on TRL.
You say hello to Howie there. You say, hi, Howie. How are you? It's nice to see you.
Live in our studio in Times Square.
It was just a talk show, basically. Yes, and it didn't rate great. It wasn't like people flocked to it.
Arthur Novel's here with Ryan Garrett.
Spent a good year trying to figure
Oh my God.
be inside that studio. As MTV Live struggles to find its identity in New York, their salvation is waiting to be discovered 1,000 miles south in Orlando.
At the time, Orlando didn't have a reputation. Like it was Disney World. So I'm Chris Kirkpatrick. I was the founding member of the band NSYNC. In the mid to late 90s, Orlando became the hub of pop music.
In the 90s, casting of Disney's Mickey Mouse tours many up-and-coming performers.
A lot of those bubblegum pop artists come out of the New Mickey Mouse Club. There was Britney, there was Justin Timberlake.
And there was someone who saw an opportunity to cash in. Florida-based businessman Lou Pearlman starts engineering pop acts to appeal to teen girls. Right? Well, Backstreet Boys. He starts with the Backstreet Boys. Then signs the recently assembled NSYNC. By mid-decade, he's churning out boy bands.
Once Backstreet went through and we went through, that's what later created O-Town, Take 5, LFO, so what Seattle was for grunge, Orlando was for pop music.
Grunge is still king, so Pearlman ships his new Princes of Pop off to Europe. Dance.
Pop was blowing up over there, and that's the first time we even heard the word boy band or anything like that, because there were tons of them over there. There were a lot from the UK coming in. There were a lot of German boy bands. It's now cool to be in pop music.
Not just cool. In Europe, bands like NSYNC become household names.
I'm Chris, and I'm both fun
while kids in the US have still never heard of it.
About a year into us being a band, we were doing shows with under 800 to 1,000 kids a night. I mean, we had like 5, sometimes 6, 7 security guards just for the 5 of us to move us through crowds of kids. It was so different. It was such another world.
But these worlds were soon colliding. In 1997, takes over the US. Grunge music was on its way out, and at exactly the same time, pop music was on its way in. MTV discovers what will drive its next great invention. We had a weekly meeting where the music department would show us new music videos coming up. When pop came out, everybody, I don't care if it was the youngest people or the Christmas veterans who had been through every version of rock music that had been on MTV, everybody started like enjoyed it. And it was Backstreet, then it was NSYNC, and then it was Britney, and then it was 98 Degrees, and then it was Christina Aguilera. You realize, hey, there's something here, and they had to find a way to create something that played to pop music.
Get down!
MTV retools the struggling MTV Live by adding a pop music countdown voted on by viewers. Strange things are happening in Times Square. Things, big things. Then rebrands it as Total Request Live, a show devoted to revealing the nation's top music videos each afternoon. TV's Times Square studio.
You know, in the beginning, it was sort of, what is this?
I'm Mish, where are you calling from? Why does it surprise everybody? I am the host of the show. I think
in the beginning, we didn't know if we were going to have anybody interested in voting at all. So it was really, some PA on a phone probably that was deciding the fate of the TRL Council.
I think you'll notice that most of the votes were tallied in percentages back then.
I mean, usually it's the Backstreet Boys, so you would say Backstreet Boys got 30% of the vote. We did that because they might have gotten 3 votes out of 10 that we got that day here in the States, right? It sounds a lot more impressive to say 30% than saying you got 3 votes.
That's out in Los Angeles right now. We're going to go to,
It was just Carson with no fanfare, and it was just him introducing these top 10 videos.
Both go nuts, people watch, that's how it works.
Very simple format. You didn't have a studio audience. That'll change when MTV discovers broadcasting hero New York Times Square. Literally brings an audience to the show. Suddenly there's a guy outside with a sign that says, Carson, bring me up. Okay, Carson, talk this here, bring him up. Carson brings the guy up, talks to him, that was fun. Next day, might be a couple of people with signs. Next week, there's 30 people.
Millennials had grown up being reported by their parents, being told that everything was interesting and great. As a result of that, they felt really comfortable being on camera. They also felt that they were interesting enough to be on camera.
Times Square, MTV selects the most diehard fans to become an in-studio audience.
They get to pick the videos, but they are part of the show. Part of the show.
It's a chance to be on TV and get up close and personal with the pop music idols. Kids can get enough. The Backstreet King, 5,000 kids were in Times Square. You know, also charges fandom to levels not seen since Elvis and the Beatles.
It was chaos. Between 2:30 and 4:30, you did not want to leave the building. It was just get down the sidewalks.
Like, it's just pure insanity. You're watching people just lose their shit.
Shepard, don't shoot. You know me. I shut down the security cams as soon as I saw it was you. Never thought I'd say it, but I'm glad it's you shooting up the place. Sorry, ran a synopsis. You let me go when you destroyed Saren's lab on Vermont. Had to outrun a nuke in a utility pod, but it's still a second chance.
Taking over, like I don't know.
No one in Saren's lab was worth saving. Bringing that up won't help you here.
Yeah, I'm not proud of what went on there, but I'm using what we learned for the greater good. Not for the mercs. Shador's on a standard power trip. But Okir is trying to do something good, even if his methods are a little...
The New York Police Department have asked us to shut the shade
Everyone
down
deserves a
here.
second
And that
chance,
became
right?
a regular
And sometimes
thing
giving one pays
where
off.
we had to
I
look
take
at the
care of my
crowds,
debts.
talk to the police, and if they gave us the high sign, we had to start lowering the blinds because the crowds were getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
The kids were spilling out the street in Broadway to New York. It's chaos. So
time to run again, Ronald. You never know when it might blow up
Then
next.
MTV further ramps
Suppose I
up
can't
the
expect
Times
to warn
Square
goodbye
TRL
after the last
fans.
mess.
Now, everybody here
Don't worry,
auditioned.
I'm staying the hell away from whatever you do and wherever you go.
An even bigger part of the
Thanks
show.
anyway, Shepard.
You give too many favors.
It's Tuesday.
We were having a contest called VJ for a Day. We're going to bring somebody up from the street and let them be a VJ for that day. What we tried to do was take people who looked and felt like our audience and put them on air because I think it made the audience more comfortable.
Okay, please welcome to our stage. I was mentioning one of these lucky people is going to pick up the coolest prizes. Kenya, Dave, and Hillary. It's a GRL.
The three finalists have to ask Carson some provocative questions.
If you found out you were adopted, what artist would you hope was your real parent?
My questions were significantly better than the other kids' questions. I don't want to brag about it, but it was funny. I am Hillary Burton Morgan, and in the year 2000, I became an MTV VJ.
Hillary, the little kid in the hall. Oh, not scores. It's the video music scores.
I was supposed to do the red carpet interviews at VMAs like the next day.
And she was great. It was a natural. VJ for a Day launches a career. Hillary also lands a second MTV gig, hosting her own alternative music show, Beat Seekers.
Let's go down to Hillary now and check into the meet. Hillary, everything all right?
Between that and TRL, Hillary proves adept at reining in the madness of Times Square.
I want
Some
your
of
progress.
Times Square was like juggling knives. Every once in a while, you'd catch a blade and you had to act like it didn't hurt because you were live on TV. It's either taxi drivers getting in fistfights or the naked cowboy crashing your shot.
This looks interesting.
Or fans who are a little unhinged showing up and getting too excited.
It's about time. The batteries on these tanks will not wait while you play with these idiotic
Our
nerds.
show was their one opportunity to meet this person, and if they could just meet, they'd get married and have babies and have a happy ending. And I was the thing standing in the way of that. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's mental health. That's not what I signed
Not the
up
smartest
for,
way
and
to greet
that's
the
not
heavily
what
armed
JM
group that just kicked in your door.
I'm sure whoever sent you doesn't want me dead. No one looks for me without a motive.
Walking up the
Certainly
stairs
not
with Britney
the
Spears to
deceased
introduce her.
Surprise. Old Krogan should know you. I'm sure Rana has already revisited your actions on Vermeer.
In the middle of New York City.
I make no apologies. It was the most efficient solution.
But I approve. Saren's pale horde were not true Krogan. Numbers alone are nothing. The mistake of an outsider. One that these mercenaries have also made.
To decide the fate of musicians and the profits of record
Personal issues irrelevant. Here for the collectors.
I see. Yes. I acquired the knowledge to create one pure soldier. With that, I will inflict upon the genophage the greatest insult an enemy can suffer. To be ignored.
To what kids have to say and
I'm getting you out of here.
what young girls have
Cerberus
to say.
has interrogators who can figure out if you're useful or not.
Any group that spent enough to rebuild you won't care what it does to me. Perhaps.
Sorry, we gotta get someone video. Backstreet Boys 17 straight days. How long is it gonna take before you guys replace
TRL's first 2 years, bands award 80% of all daily #1s to only 3 bands. In sync, 90 degrees.
She's that weak-willed. She'll kill my legacy with a damn valve. Shepard, you want information on the collectors? Stop her. She'll try to access contaminants in the storage bay.
And it just started this giant snowball of fame.
Sorry, Doctor.
I mean,
it appears your position is just weakened.
I understand, but you'll have nothing if she poisons us all. Jador will be with the rejected tapes. Kill her. I will stay and do what must be done.
Facts, you know, hopefully a lot of artists will realize how influential TRL really is to their careers.
Kill Jador, Shepard. I do
It's a
what I
material world, and established artists see TRL as a way to reach the kids buying their records.
We knew we had made it when Madonna called us and said she wanted to be on TRL.
They're running wild out on Madonna.
It's right in the passage that if you were a musician, you wanted to sell records, you needed to be on TRL.
Bumping into Prince at a club. He was having a meeting with Monty Lippman, who was the head of Universal at the time. And asked for recognizing TRL, and it was the security police actually ushered me into where they're sitting. And then he started pointing to me as a way of drawing attention to how he wasn't on TRL. I'm blown away that Prince even knows who the hell I am. But clearly he's actually watching TRL and is being affected by how other artists are on the countdown and yet him not being on the countdown. So I'm like, bro, you're Prince.
What an honor to have you here on our local logging phone show. Corporate artists.
Calm down. Your record sales rose. It's a make or break career.
Here we go. Do what they can to manipulate the process.
System within the music industry that was cutthroat, that was by any means necessary for artists to get on the countdown.
Clean hit.
Companies began actively encouraging fans of their recording artists to vote early and often.
It was, do you love Limp Bizkit? Well, do you want Limp Bizkit to be the #1 video? Here's what you do there. If you vote a certain time, you're going to get a Limp Bizkit t-shirt. Maybe you'll be entered in a contest to win, to meet printers. I don't know why I scored with one thing. That was the big thing. People really loved Limp Bizkit.
MTV fights back by trying to better secure the voting process.
There were more computers, more phones, and smarter people figuring out how those votes were happening.
But the network estimates how far record companies will go to game the system.
There was a company that was actually to pull into TRL to get their artists on. Running our inbox. So it was like bots before bots were a thing. It was rigging the game.
Lost shields.
Cheating, actually.
TRL's power to make or break careers rose.
Go ahead. Destroy. I will rebuild.
So does the pressure on performers to make their appearances totally unforgettable.
Hey, check out the view.
By 2001, Total Request Live is no longer just reporting on pop culture. It has become part of pop culture. The show.
Reference it. People make jokes about it.
Enemies in front.
Alien, what if it's song? You know,
I'll kill them all.
Anyone who wants to be someone is stopping by the studio on the radio.
Wanted to dress, so TRL became one of the major PR stops in New York.
Also, with some other here time.
Today's show, TRL, adoration.
Break them, kill them, I'll create more.
Celebrities were very interactive with fans. And outside them,
the center of this pop culture circus is its ringleader.
You need to do that in live television. Every curveball we ever do back Marsden also has this feel where he could talk to a kid off the street the exact same way he talked to Donna or another call.
And that's what he did, is that he made every person he was talking to feel like they were set up.
Hey, what's up? Carson here at the Pizza Hut parking lot.
Yo.
I think that Carson.
Alarms in the lab. Damn it, what's OK doing back there?
Didn't necessarily get in the game to be a celebrity himself, but he became one because of how popular Total Request Live was.
According to lab scanners, the room is flooded
When I
with
first
toxins
started at
that appear to
MTV,
special
I
life
went
signs
out
of failing
to this
rapidly.
party at the House of Blues, and so it was a bit of a who's who of what was happening in Hollywood at the time. I think Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit was at the table next to Carson Daly. Next to Carson Daly's table was Snoop Dogg, and I think Justin Timberlake might have been there too. I didn't have to take any drugs to be high on that situation.
He starts dating celebrities, so he had a famous relationship with Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was such a big deal at that time. He then dates Tara Reid, who was also a very big teen star at the time, and he becomes a topic of conversation in the tabloids.
Okiya wasted his life to save this single Krogan?
Delusional. Unlikely one Krogan, however strong, could have impact Okiya wanted, and almost certain. Suggest leaving
Carson
it.
swears off public relationships for good. And it's not just Carson struggling with fame. All of the show's VJs begin drawing attention, for better or worse.
I'm aware of your bias regarding the Krogan. I decide what best serves our mission.
Won't know until he's out. If dangerous, too late at that point.
Normandy, Okiya is a no-go.
Every day.
And he's a big one.
Dumb. That's like a dumb thing to do. Okay, just go be an icon now. Go be a pop culture icon. I struggled with it. It's an intimidating thing to be thrown into.
Celebrity, it's a very double-edged sword. Essentially, it's like you're signing up for everyone feeling entitled to have photos with you, have moments with you, no matter what you prefer for the rest of your life in some ways.
I started getting fan mail about my feet. There was a guy who would start writing letters